So as gun owners and Second Amendment enthusiasts, one of the biggest challenges we all face collectively is where to train. And a lot of you guys have access to indoor ranges and may not always have access to outdoor ranges that allow us to shoot and to move and to do things as dynamically as I get to do. So what I wanted to do today was show you a 40-round pistol course of fire that I like to do pretty much anywhere. And I'm showing you how you can tailor it to your range. As a matter of fact, at the range here at Alaska Ammo, you cannot draw from the holster. You can only do it from the table, but we made some caveats. We asked them what it would take to let us draw from the holster, and they said we had to rent out the entire bay, which is what we did. For the name of training and for the name of you guys, that way you get some awesome content. So we're gonna do some indoor range training today, mainly the 40-round pistol course of fire that I came up with, and we're gonna walk you through the things I like to look for and identify when we shoot, so that when you guys go out and run this, you can now use it pretty much wherever. If you can run at the indoor range, you can run a public land, outdoor range. If you run into any sort of constraints, let me know, because I'd like to hear what you guys did to overcome those. For us, we just rented out the whole thing. It's actually 2 bays. There's one over there and one over here, and we rented out 1 bay instead of the other one. So with that being said, I've got my IPSC up here. This is meant for a standard IPSC. It's meant off of a Glock platform, and you'll see how the round count kind of plays into effect. So I'm going to go ahead here and set this guy up. It's supposed to be shot at 7 yards. The options they give us here are 5 and 10 yards. So I think for now, we're just going to do it at 5 yards and being mindful that this is probably closer than what I would prefer versus the 7-yard course. So as you can see, indoor range, I've got my handgun out here laying on the table. I've already got my magazines loaded up, ready to go. Well, I had 1 extra magazine. Where'd it go? There it is. We're doing it live, baby, doing it live. So I'm gonna step over here. The first string of fire we're gonna do is 4 rounds from compressed ready into the A zone. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load up, make ready, indoor range style. Make sure my red dot is nice and bright for indoors. Like I said, I'm gonna hit the timer and it's just gonna be press out. I'm gonna do 1 round. Make sure this thing's on delay. It's on instant. Now we're on delay. Okay, a little slow, that was a .94, do it again. Okay, much better, .63. Pushed up the speed a little bit. Last one was a .57, so about ½ second is what I like to aim for. I'm gonna do that 4 times. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out really quick. So, big things I like to look for when I do this is consistency, right? I want to make sure that when I press out the gun, I'm finding the dot, I'm prepping the trigger, I have adequate grip, and then I'm breaking the trigger finger to elbow. And then what I'm doing is I'm resetting the gun back for a secondary sight picture, prepping the trigger again, and then thinking to myself, if I had to take another shot, is this adequate? Do I like what I see? Am I comfortable? Does everything look good? And did the round go where I want to go? I call that a free repetition, right? Just like in dry fire, if you were to just press the gun out, same thing. Now we get to reset that gun, make sure that the grip is where we wanted it, make sure the trigger comes back to the reset, and then making sure that I've got the red dot or your irons wherever you like it. And you're gonna see me do that throughout the entire course of fire. Every time I finish, I'm gonna stand there and pause for a second and think, am I relaxed, am I comfortable? And I'm just gonna do a self-evaluation and a self-breakdown. I tried to preach that to every new shooter because I see them snatch the gun back really quick, and that's really not a good thing because sometimes they don't take their finger off the trigger, or it's just really a bad thing to get into. So I try to persuade people I shoot with to take that secondary sight picture and get that free rep after every course of fire. Okay, so now I've done that 4 times. I'm gonna go ahead, load it back up, and now I'm gonna do it from the holster 1 round, and we're gonna do the same thing, right? So I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna make sure I present the gun I want to, I'm staying relaxed, my arms are bent, my stance is good. And like I said, the indoor range has blessed us, I think, they have cameras up, to draw from the holster because we rented the whole thing out. Obviously, I'm gonna be more mindful because I'm shooting in the stall, and we have to make sure that we're not shooting into the floor or into the ceiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this down. They actually didn't tell us, like, some of these benches fold up if we had to fold up the bench to draw from the holster. So probably would have been a good thing to ask. This one doesn't seem to fold up, so we're just gonna do it live. And then they'll come yell at us, I guess. We'll see. Okay, a little to the left. I didn't prep that hand really nice on the grip, so I pushed to Charlie. Much better. I fixed that grip. That was a 122 from my Alien Gears level 3 Rapid Force holster. Solid plug. Okay, that was a 118. Do that one more time. Nice. And then that was a 123, a little slower. So as you can see, that whole time I punched out. As soon as the gun reset, I got that side picture. It took a second. I like to say woosa, like breathe in and out, make sure everything looks good. I like the hit so far. I just got those 2 Charlies from what we talked about earlier. And now we're going to do that same course of fire 4 times, and we're going to do doubles from the holster. Okay, 169. All right, 157. Sped it up a little bit there. That was a 140. And now we're going to do the last set. Okay, so that was a 155. And as now you can see, my magazine is empty. This is supposed to set you up for a 1 reload 5. And so I understand that the indoor range has some constraints. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to unload my firearm. I'm going to put it on the bench here. And I'm just going to demonstrate some ways you can get around this. So obviously, if there was other people around me shooting and my magazine went sliding down the range, that'd be embarrassing for me, embarrassing for your mom, it'd be embarrassing for everybody. Be embarrassing for my mom too. Ooh, hope she doesn't see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an unloaded start. If you shoot USPSA, you're going to be very familiar with this setup where you take your loaded magazine, put it next to your handgun, you load it up, fire 1 round, and then utilizing my handy dandy dump pouch back here, I'm going to take that empty mag, strip it out, put it in here, put in my fresh one, and do the remaining 5 rounds. And I'm going to start with my hands on the bench. All right, that was a 610. We're going to do it again. I'm going to do the same thing. Take that magazine out, clear the gun. Take my empty mag that I've stowed into my dump pouch, put it back on the table, take my loaded mag, put it back in the holster. Okay, you do that twice. So I go ahead, I cleared my handgun there, I put it back on the bench. I missed the dump pouch, so silly me. So I'll put that back on the table. But the good thing is that the magazine didn't go sliding down range, and then you're like, well, how do I get that back without looking like a doofus? Or if you're just me, you look like a doofus already and you just roll with it. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that target and we're gonna talk about some things. Okay, it's back. So, long trip from 5 yards down range and back. As you can see, I tend to repurpose some IPSCs. So this guy's seen, he's been through some stuff. I taped him back up. He does all right. He'll get through us today. So as you can see, my rounds are pretty consistent here. And then I've got this 1 low and 2 to the left. So now that I see these 3 hits, we're going to talk about it and kind of diagnose some things, right? Because we should all be thinkers as well as shooters. Quote unquote, Haley Strategic, I think, said that first. So as you can see, I've got 2 shots off to the left. What I can tell from this is that they're at a nice even height on the target. So wherever my red dot was nice. I broke the trigger finger nice and back, but what happened was the gun pushed off to the left, which means I didn't apply adequate pressure with the support hand, which is what I said when that actually happened the second time. The first one I couldn't really tell because I wasn't paying as much attention to the hit. I was trying to demo the drills and everything. But looking at this now, I can tell that I had one that was pretty close, one that was more egregiously to the left. So next time I'll just make sure to clean it up, apply more left-hand trigger, or not trigger, left-hand pressure. And as you can see, I dropped one just a little bit low. This one came from the One Reload 5s, just getting that first round out, trying to be as quick as I can. I just overdrove the gun slightly and I broke the shot low. It is a little to the left, but we're not gonna like super dig into this, right? We just see that it's low. And that's just for me overdriving the gun, seeing that flash of red, seeing the cardboard, and then trying to press the trigger as quick as I can. So obviously we did this at 5 yards. As you can see, these probably, if we do this at 10, 15, 20 yards, would expand over time, right? It may just be an inch now, but if that bullet was to travel further, it probably would be a little more exponent as far as the spread goes. So yeah, that is the whole course of fire. I think I said it was 40 rounds. I think it's a little bit less than that, depending on how many times you shoot your extra magazine here from the reload. Yeah, and that's all I have for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them in the comments below. Hopefully this can kind of help you get your ideas thinking about how you can kind of defeat working at the indoor range. So we'll hopefully make some more content like this later, so that way if you guys are a little bit stuck, you can come reference the videos that I've done, and that you can watch the drills and kind of go ahead and take those to your ranges and do them as well. And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you feel extra generous.